because of him. Tier 2 can carry a team sometimes, but not as consistently. Well, who was the Tier 1 quarterback, you may ask? It was Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Big Ben. Only those three. Now, the Tier 2 quarterbacks wasn't that bad. I mean, you got Cam, Drew Brees, Wilson, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning. Don't know why the hell Eli is in there. Carson Palmer and Tony Romo. Yes, I said it. Tony Romo's ranked 11th of NFL quarterbacks. And coming from a very injury-prone season from the last year, that's not that bad to come in at 11. Good job, Tony. Good job. Eli, no, shouldn't be in that conversation. But anyways, so who would you take out? There's no way in hell you can take out Tom Brady. Cam Newton is nowhere near Aaron Rodgers. So the comparison you make is Cam Newton better than Big Ben? Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers. Just for the last 5 years, last year alone, Cam Newton destroyed the competition. He threw for 35 touchdowns and 10 picks, compared to Roethlisberger 21 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. Now, I know Roethlisberger was hurt. 2014, Cam only threw 18 touchdowns to 12 picks. Roethlisberger had 32 touchdowns to 9 picks. 2013, Cam threw for 24 touchdowns and 13 picks. Roethlisberger had 28 and 14. 2012, Cam had 19 and 12. Roethlisberger had 26 and 8. Comparing the two numbers, Roethlisberger, minus last year, plus the Super Bowls, is the better quarterback. So you may agree or disagree, but going off of the numbers, they got it correct. Roethlisberger is one of those Tier 1 quarterbacks due to the stats that the man has put up, the toughness that he has provided, and he got the hardware. Cam doesn't have that yet, so you can't put him in the conversations with those type of quarterbacks without the hardware to back it up. So what did NFL Network have to say about the Carolina Panthers? Let's go ahead and get into it and see what they got to say. And once again, we'll get back, give you my 2 cents, and give you the picks. One moment.
Carolina Panthers, they were perfect in almost every single game except for against Atlanta and Denver in Super Bowl 50. So when it comes to adjustments in 2016, Jamie Dukes, what needs to be made?
Well, I think it's just tightening up the chin strap a little bit. And I think the good thing about having a great coach like Ron Rivera, everything that you heard Cam talking about, even Coach Schuler talking about from the standpoint of last year was last year. That's the mistake a lot of players make in not understanding last year was last year. That's why you don't have repeat champions, because it's just difficult to repeat, because it could be the third or fourth string guy that think, hey, man, I'm on the Super Bowl. and that third or fourth string guy can be the difference in your team making it or not making it to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. I love Cam Newton setting the tone for his team, saying that we're starting from scratch. We got to rebuild this whole thing. For me, I'm a little concerned with the Carolina Panthers' edge rush presence. Yeah. Okay, Jared Allen's retired. Charles Johnson is getting another year older. Who's going to be that guy on the edge for them consistently? 17.5 sacks by defensive ends on their roster last year. Not bad on its face, but when you consider how the Carolina Panthers defense is adept at making teams one-dimensional, they should have a lot more hits on the quarterback, a lot more sacks on the quarterback. Can Coney Ely build on that performance he had in Super Bowl 50? Remains to be seen. Is it Mario Addison? They've got to figure out who's going to be that consistent sack artist on that D.
Yeah, there's a reason they wanted a mid-30s Jared Allen in that rotation, because they didn't have anybody. Yep. I've heard all this talk about Josh Norman being a system corner. Mm-hmm. Well, if he's a system corner, he's a pretty dang good system corner for Carolina last year. You just don't let all-pro corners walk. I mean, because they're just not out there growing on trees, man. And this is a division that's not getting worse. I don't see Tampa Bay being as bad as they were last year. I think they're an 8-8 team. I think Atlanta could be improved, just not necessarily have the record to show it. And the Saints can only go uphill because their defense can't be any worse.
Talk about the Saints.
That's right. Did I mention that Drew Brees is the greatest player ever? So, my friend, I think losing Josh Norman is huge. We've had so many other offseason developments. I think in a different offseason, there'd be more attention focused on the fact that Carolina let a guy like that end up in Washington. It's going to hurt them, even if they did draft guys.
Maybe Carolina knew something that we did not know. That's the reason they rescinded that franchise
Could
tag.
be.
So we will see. We will see how Josh Norman plays in our nation's capital.
Oh, I highly doubt Carolina knew something that we didn't know. That was just a stupid decision by the Panthers to let that man walk. I don't know what the hell the general manager was thinking, and why would you even let a cornerback of that stature just walk out of here scotch-free? But, hey, they let him walk. Let's go ahead and get into the training camp views. Number one, and the obvious answer, who's going to fill the void of Josh Norman? Who's going to step it up? Now, the Panthers feel like they have the solution in Benet Benwickery. I think I said his name right. If I didn't, Panther fans don't attack me. Now, he's also coming off a broken leg and was not the starter. And now he's being forced into not even a starting position, but the number one cornerback spot, coming off a broken leg in their rookie James Bradbury. Now, they also lost their other starting corner in Finnegan, and they starting safety in Roman Harper. Now, that's a major, major turnover in the secondary. It's a lot of changes to make in the offseason. I know that front that they have is amazing. I mean, we start Tudele, the linebacker core, and Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly, pound for pound the best linebacker core in the NFL. Charles Johnson rushing off the edge, Coney Ely, they're very solid up front. Shaq Thompson, but that secondary has so many questions. So I tell you what, they better get a ton of quarterback pressures today, but if the quarterback has any smidget of a second to throw the ball, I'm almost guaranteed that those receivers are going to be open. I don't know the secondary. You may think you know the secondary, Panther fans, but you don't know the secondary. There's a lot of holes, a lot of questions. Number two, the return of Calvin Benjamin. What is he going to add to the other weapons that Cam has pretty much sharpened, as in Ted Ginn Jr. and Funches, and one of the best tight ends in the game, Greg Olsen? With the return of Benjamin, man, that offense is going to be potent and scary, man. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, they have a long way to go, but I think with the return of that big target in Benjamin, this Carolina Panthers, just like, and I hate to compare everything to the Dallas Cowboys, but our defense is garbage. They're not the Carolina Panthers defense, but the offense is good enough to help out the defense. And I think that's what this Panthers team is going to do this year. Prevent the defense, especially the secondary, from getting exposed. You do that way by eating up the clock or just pretty much outscoring everybody, which is what they did last year. So we're going to see. I mean, a long way to go, but the return of Kelvin Benjamin definitely helps. And can Cam Newton improve from the best season of his life? 45 total touchdowns. First player ever to pass for over 30 touchdowns and run for 10. Phenomenal season Cam had last year. Incredible. Let's go ahead and get into the picks. Let's see who I have within the NFC South. Number one, week one at Denver, payback primetime game. They will win it by a large margin. San Francisco win. Minnesota win. Atlanta, that first game, they're going to be mad. Win. Bucks at home. Prime time. Win. New Orleans win. Arizona payback game for Zona. They will lose that game. Bounce back, beat the Rams. Kansas City at home. They'll beat Kansas City. They will beat New Orleans. Oakland, circle this game. Circle it, book it, do whatever you want to. They will lose to this Oakland Raider team. Oakland Raiders is significantly better, but it's a trap game. They're going to be looking forward to the next primetime game against the Seattle Seahawks. I think they will lose to Oakland just by taking them lightly. It's going to be at Oakland. They're flying across the country. Looking forward to playing Seattle. They will lose. They got Seattle at Seattle. Seattle, remember that crap from last year. But no beast mode for Seattle. I think they will beat Seattle. They will beat San Diego. Washington Redskins. The return of Josh Norman. But that Redskins team ain't that great. And they surely as hell is not going to beat the Panthers. They will beat Washington. Atlanta, they will lose that second game to Atlanta. And even though it's going to be a dogfight, that last game against Tampa, they will still win. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 3 Carolina Panthers. And I have the Carolina Panthers as the NFC South champions again. The defense is just too amazing, even with the loss of the secondary. 1 second, guys. But you got Cam back there. You got the return of Kelvin Benjamin. You still have that excellent linebacking core. You still got that excellent defensive front, and Ron Rivera is your head coach. 13-3, I think, minimum. So just to recap, I got the Carolina Panthers winning the division at 13-3, but I do have Atlanta Falcons improving for 10-6, making a run at the playoffs. I got Tampa Bay at 6-10, and I have New Orleans at 7-9. Should be very interesting, but I think it's very, very realistic. Once again, if you guys disagree with what I said for today, please let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. That's BS Podcast 864. Facebook, that's Butler-Smith POD. Also, you can email me. That's podcastingbs@gmail.com. Please, please, guys, let me know what you think. We're going to go ahead and stop the music here and end this show, wrap it up. Give me 1 second. I'm going to drink a little bit of water because I'm about to get a little serious. Thank you guys for that. Today, the sports world lost a very, very inspirational guy in John Saunders. If you're not familiar with John Saunders, he was the host of Sports Reporters that come on every Sunday morning. Me going into broadcast journalism, there's only a few people on the radio or on TV that I look up to. It's a very few. I look up to Bomani Jones, Dan Lebertard, Adam Shaft, Bob Lee, John Saunders. I think those few pretty much, and of course, I love Michael Smith and Jamel Hill, but the few that I just listen to is who that if I were to ever somehow get my blessings granted and make it to ESPN, I want to mimic my own show, just take a little bit out of every single one of them. But John Saunders, from what he'd done to other people coming up in broadcast journalism, how he was pretty much their tutor, their mentor, the guidance counselor, a father figure. You even heard Stephen A. Smith on First Take today talk about how much of an influence he was on him and how he took him under his wing. And I'm going to play in a bit a piece from Jamel Hill personifying pretty much the greatness and the genuine that John Saunders had for all of his colleagues